So I want to make a little video about how to make a good profile to approach people with. Not necessarily LinkedIn profile, but a profile is just what you send to people when you say, hey, I'd like to work for you. And it starts by not sending people a boring, like wall of text resume that's black and white. And it looks like it was made in 1995, right? If you're a developer, send something interactive. Don't send me your CV, send me your portfolio website, things like that. And this is a mistake I think I see a lot of people make. Like I made a video about it and I said, you want to introduce yourself with a good profile, and that is like, look like a normal person. Do not have like your profiles pictures on social medias and Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. And you should have these profiles because normal people have them. Like they should be a picture of your face, a real person, not some like weird emoji or not the default picture without anything, right? Like you don't need some super corporate thing, but just a normal photo is fine. How does your GitHub and your portfolio look? Like, do you actually have a portfolio website which actually has a couple projects in it? If the answer is no, like start there. Like you don't have to look that far to optimize these things. You will be surprised how far you get by just building a portfolio website that is better and showcases actual work. That is how one of my developers reached out. He sent me his website. He's like, hey, I've been working on these things. And you know what? The project was good. And his GitHub, like you have a bunch of code there. Like you should have repositories. There's another guy who reached out. His GitHub's empty. He's got nothing on his LinkedIn. He's got no personal website. He sends me a CV that looks like it's from 1995. Man, I'm never going to hire this guy. And at first I was like, okay, maybe, he doesn't have a portfolio website. Maybe front end's not his best thing. I think maybe he did have a portfolio website, but it had like no projects and it was really just not super nice. Okay, maybe he's a backend guy. Let me check out the GitHub. Maybe he's got some awesome code kind of under the hood. He's just terrible at designing. But no, there's nothing there. There's like 2 repos, equally empty. There's like just no activity, or like there's good activity on the chart, but there's nothing public. And it's like, that's not an attractive profile. If you've been working a job and you're just out of a job, do you have things there? Probably not. But like part of your job search should just be putting stuff on your profile. And this is for freelancers as much as for like kind of professional developers who do it as a job, right? If you are a freelancer, if you're trying to set up an agency, like the first thing is you need to get clients. And to get clients, you don't need to cold approach people. But when you reach out to somebody who needs a developer, having something that looks legitimate makes all the difference. The way you present yourself is massive. That is why if you present yourself as an agency, you command a different kind of price point as well. And that's a huge thing. And people neglect that hugely. And I think it's such a big mistake. Today, I had a bunch of calls and, well, not too many, but had a really good chat with the clients and figuring out something longer term with them. And London is in like 5, 4, 3, I don't know how many days, but I'm excited to go and very much looking forward to like setting up there and moving things there and doing a new push for business development. Like I think like the way that you present yourself makes a huge difference in the developer space, because everything is about standards. It is like the reason why you get paid more or less is based on the standards that you hold. This is like, if your standards are lower, you will produce lower quality work and you will be paid lower quality salaries and compensation. And like the only way that I have moved up in deal size is by holding higher and higher standards. And that, like, I aim to hold the highest standards possible. That is the difference between luxury items and kind of regular items, is the standards are incredibly high. There's other differences too, but that is effectively what you pay for. And the first impressions you make are so important. And as developers, I think this needs, like, a lot of people need to be reminded of this, because you are indirectly revenue generating. And that means you cannot just bank on you don't have like a bunch of numbers to show people how trustworthy you are or how good you are at what you do. For marketing, this is really easy. My average client increases their revenue by 50%. So I'm great, right? Like that's a claim a marketer can make. But as a developer, you provide immense value to the company, but it's indirect, right? So you might have doubled, tripled, or 10x some company's revenue, but like through the software you made, but it's indirect because there's marketing and sales and there's a whole chain of events between you making the software and the money coming in. And so you cannot claim those results. And so the way that you need to make impressions on people banks on your profile and the way that you present yourself. You need to get something nicely designed, or it doesn't have to be like super nice. It just has to communicate what you're good at. Like when I look at your profile, does it look like somebody I want to hire or not? And if it looks average, nobody wants to hire somebody who looks average. You have to present things above average, and that means like working on a portfolio and things like that. And you have to be willing to put in that work. I will say though, like you can also build portfolio pieces by just working for people for free, because then you get testimonials too. But even with 0 projects to approach people, just build something simple yourself. Build something simple. You can do a couple projects in a week if you really want. Like it's really not that complicated. It's not that hard if you actually put some time into it. Like you can build like mini micro projects in 2 weeks. You can build like 3 or 5 3 to 5 of them, like depending how small they are. You know, like you can spin up a mock-up app and a mock-up website for this, that, or the other thing. And like, if you want to include maybe, you know, like these are tasks that you can do in a take home. You can show people your attention to detail. that's what you can show, and it has a lot of value. Anyway, it's probably a little bit of a disorganized rant, but I think maybe some people will find that useful. So I'm gonna actually catch up on some more work right now and then head to sleep. It's like maybe 12:30 like AM, but I didn't manage to work earlier today, so I'm just gonna have to catch up on things now. So it is what it is.